for me or Mr. Teague, as always, just put them in the chat box and we'll do everything we can to answer them. The ones we can't answer, we will, as always, get those out onto our Q&A and our reopening component. So we'll go right to the second slide. So we are going to increase student capacity starting after the break, but the most important thing we have to remember is it's not going to change anything that we've done in the past. So we still have to continue wearing our masks, social distancing, hand washing, cleaning, maintaining of our facilities, contact tracing, everything that we've been doing since the beginning, since we brought students back, we have to maintain and we have to keep up that diligence. Nothing has changed as far as our mitigation as keeping students safe. There's just been a few changes in some of the guidance that will allow us to bring more students back. So it's really important. I don't want people to think that this just means that, we're going to be congregating in the halls, that we're not going to be wearing masks. Everything is going to be just as strict, just as all of our formats that we've had since the school year started. There's just a few changes in terms of some of the CDC guidance. We have a couple of people in the chat. Okay, so a few updates. The last survey showed that 75 to 80% of our parents request 4 days a week in person. That's up from 67.5. So the biggest change that came out of Executive Ryan's guidance document that came out last Thursday was the social distancing. So at all possible, the goal is to maintain a social distancing of 6 feet. If 6 feet cannot be maintained, you do have the ability now to use a barrier as long as you then keep that distance at 3 feet. So that's going to really help us, as you know, in school, in our classrooms. The second change that's really going to help us bring more students back is to create distance between children on school buses when possible. But if not possible, windows must be open at all times. So we've actually added another safety procedure. Students will load from the back of the bus to the front, and then when each seat is full, students will fill from the front to the back. This will decrease, a lot of our bus runs are very short. This will decrease the amount of time students are sitting in a seat. And all students and staff must wear masks while on a bus. So what have we done with these new considerations to bring more of our students back? We ordered 2,000 barriers. The company that we ordered them from says they will be in March 31st or April 1st. Transportation right now is reworking routes based on the latest survey results of families that want their students to come back, and we're working those with the Ulster County guidelines. Our goal is always to maintain 6 feet social distance as much as possible. When that's not possible in classrooms and student spaces, that's when the barriers will be used. All staff still maintain 6 feet social distancing. Another consideration is the fact that as of March 11th, 95% of staff in Ulster County that had requested their first vaccine received it. And due to spring weather, more windows will remain open for longer periods of time. So, like I said, our survey right now is about 80%. So most classes, K-6, with the expected 80% return, can maintain social distancing. There's a few classes that, due to their size, will not be able to, so they will be relocated to larger classrooms within the campus. So the classes that we don't have a place to relocate in the elementary, those classes will then get the barrier. So our first goal is always, if the classroom is large enough for all the students that have chosen to return with social distancing, that is the first step. The next step is, due to the class size and the size of the room, it will be relocated to a larger class on that campus. And then the third choice will be to bring in the barriers. Most classes will continue to eat in the classroom. As far as recess, there's been no change. As far as specials, we've received no additional guidance on physical education classes and music. I know parents had asked about that. As you know, right now, they're limited on the activities and the spacing is 12 feet. This next one is very important, arrival and dismissal. There's no change in the CDC procedures. We are expecting an increase in traffic. I really appreciate the fact that when we did the survey, an awful lot of parents have said they will provide transportation, which is great. That will mean an increase in traffic. So we really ask that you follow the specific elementary schools drop-off and pickup procedures for the safety of our students. The buses always have the right of way. We can't slow down the buses or hold the buses up for parent pickup because all of our buses run multiple routes. So it's really important that you follow those direct procedures for your elementary school and what they're going to look like. Okay, for the junior, senior high school. As you know, our class size at the elementary school averages between 20 and 22. So when you look at 80%, you're talking about 16 or 17 plus an adult in the room. That's why most of those classrooms can handle everybody that wants to come back. High school classes can be as large as 30. So due to the class enrollment, most of the high school classes will have barriers on the desk. If somebody just popped up, what do the barriers look like? They're plastic trifold, if you remember the old science fair. So the barrier sits on the desk. The students still have to wear a mask and they still have to all face in one direction. We do have a few classes that will be moved within the campus to allow more students to return and maintain CDC guidelines. Even with the barriers, you still have to have 3 feet between students. Lunch will continue in the cafeteria. We will look to outside locations as the weather does change. Once again, we're waiting for further guidance on music and physical education. And like I said earlier, there'll be no change in CDC procedures. We are expecting, once again, more traffic. So please follow the guidelines at your specific building for traffic and drop off, because the buses have to maintain their schedule. Okay.
All right.
Okay, so let me stop. I can see the questions. Thank you.
All right, so as is usual, if you could put your question